Hi everyone, welcome to This Era, the show that talks about the many sides of me. Guys, today we're going to be talking about psychological time. Now, what is that? What is psychological time? Well, we're going to talk about it. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Hi everyone. So I came across this video on TikTok, on the TikToks, and it was this girl, she was talking about psychological time. And I thought it was such an interesting topic, and I'm like, I have to talk about it. But anyways, first of all, I want to say that I have a new chair. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Yay. I have a new chair, guys. I bought a different one. It's like a weird ergonomic kind of chair, and it's weird. It's like you could like move around and like swivel. It's like really weird, but I'm trying it out. It's kind of weird. I don't know how to explain it. I wish I had like different pants to wear with it, but you know, cause like what was I saying? Oh, well, cause like the pajamas, whatever. I'm wearing PJs right now, sweetie. Who else is not, who's not wearing PJs right now? But yeah, I'm wearing that, and, it kind of like hurts a little, but not really, cause it's like dragging. But anyways, I'm wearing that, and I'm sitting on this weird chair and recording this podcast. So, okay, anyways, I psychological time. Now, this is such an interesting topic because it connects to almost all aspects of my understanding of like the being in the present moment and all of these things. And it was perfect for this for an episode, because I was like, okay, I talk about these things, and especially like the power of now, and I want to make sure that that message is clear in my podcast. Like it's something that I talk about. So anyways, everyone, thank you for tuning in to this episode. Psychological time. So I definitely get a lot of existential crisis. Does anyone else get any of that? Because I do. I think about some thing in my head. I go inside my head sometimes, and if I'm going to be completely honest, this happens at night usually, sometimes, not all the time. I'm telling you, we're going to be using the word time a lot today. So yeah, usually like at night I am laying down, and I go into my head, and I start thinking about things that happened in the past. And it's annoying because it takes away from what is always there, which is now. And so, and then sometimes I start thinking about the future, like, oh my God, like I have to do this. And when I say the future, I don't mean like, it could be like 20 years later or even some crazy part in the future, but I mean like even tomorrow, like, oh, what am I going to do tomorrow? Like what, but why should I waste energy in doing that? I'm sure everyone who's listening right now has some existential crisis moments, and, nobody's perfect, and we all go through that. Some more than others, that's for sure. But yeah, that I always, go into that weird space. And yesterday, last night, I'm recording this at a certain time, but by the time this is out, it's going to be a different time in the future. And, but anyways, in my current time where I'm recording this podcast, last night, I had a weird moment where I was like, oh my God, like I went inside my head, and I was like, come back inside. Like it was so annoying. It was like this weird experience where I wanted to like, okay, it's going to sound weird, but what I did was I started touching the fabric of my bed and started basically very much be in tune with the textures and the bed. So I'm like, touching that. And then, my attention goes to my air purifier, which I hear, and it's like a very white noise sound. It's like, very white noise. And I pay attention to that, and, the sound of that. And then, what I was trying to do was trying to be in tune with what I have now and what's happening in front of my eyes, because I was going into a place where it was a waste of energy, and little Kevin is trying to go to sleep. So I did that, and it helps, right? I don't know. But anyways, in this video, this lady, she talks about how there's 3 ways of viewing time. And I thought it was so interesting because, again, this connects to, lots of different resources that I've seen or read, and it's amazing. So anyways, there was 3 ways of viewing time. And the first one was, there is no time, there is only the present moment. That we all know, like, there really is no time, because time is a human construct. We constructed time in order for us to have order and but really there isn't any time. That there's no time. That's a construct that we have. And what we have is really just what's happening right in front of us. So again, I'm having this weird moment right now where I'm like, okay, right now I'm talking to this mic and I'm having this awareness of now, and but eventually this episode is going to be somewhere in the future, and then for you it'll be now. It's just a weird thing. Whatever. Number 2 was clock time. So clock time as in, like, we have, like, we have a date, we have a specific date, we have a meeting on Monday at 11. We have this sort of continuity of society, and that's what clock time does, is that it runs that sort of thing. It's constantly moving, and it's like, there's a specific time to do everything, and that's what it is. And then here's where everything comes into play, where we talk about the power of now and such like that. So number 3 is psychological time. So the killer of happiness is what she said. And I was like, this is so interesting. The killer of happiness is psychological time. So what is psychological time? So psychological time is our sense of perceived time, our false sense of reality. So time is, we have this sense of time as in, time is like linear, but it's not. If you pay attention to, like, especially me, I definitely, what's it called? What do you call that? Whatever. I'm going to say that I connected very close to this sort of statement, that when we are anxious, we say, I don't have enough time, or something is taking too much time. And when you really think about it, nothing is taking time away from us, and nothing is taking too much time. We're anxious, and we go into our perceived false sense of reality of time in our heads. So psychological time is in our heads. It's the killer of happiness, because it's something that comes into our head and we start going into there. So let me just bring some more context. So this sort of thing splits our understanding of time, because when we project that we don't have enough time, we leave reality and we go into our heads. So again, like I said, and then that's when, like, things like anxiety happens. And it's just so weird. It's just so interesting. I was like, oh my God, like, this happens to me many times where I'm like, I start getting anxious, and that's when I start thinking about things that happened in the past and things that happen that could happen, but we don't know, anyways. And then they went on, the lady with, the girl, lady, ma'am, sweetie, I don't know. The mind, she said that the mind convinced us that time is linear. And so what she meant was, like, we think that, we were born over here at this certain moment, and we will die at this certain moment. But we never really arrive in the future. The future is arriving to us. And what I thought this was very interesting is that, let me say that again. We never arrive in the future. The future arrives to us. Isn't that such a statement? Because, and this is where this comes in, where this is how we attract manifestations, because we don't go to them, but those things they come to us. The future arrives to us. Those manifestations come to us. And I thought this was such like, I was like, hello. Anyways, most of us think that we need to wait for something to come, but we only have now and this present moment. And that's where we really could make a change. And what I also very was in tune with is that she said, if I want to feel better tomorrow, I want to feel better today. So if I want to feel better tomorrow, I have to make my day amazing today. I have to be better, feel better right now so that I can be better tomorrow. And what I was saying is that, you're giving energy to the past or the future, and that only exists in the mind. So this was such an interesting thing, because if you look at books like The Power of Now, they really talk about, the author talks about how the power of now, like just being present, and how that can really change everything. And this sort of thing goes back into this psychological time, because it is the killer of happiness. And it's so funny because The Power of Now talks about that. And, I haven't read it in a while, but The Power of Now has that sort of idea to it. Let me see if I can pull it up. Do you hear my typing here? Let me see. Inner peace. It talks about inner peace. So this book, The Power of Now, is like a spiritual self-help book. It says that when we are intensely present in the now, we respond from deep consciousness and flow with ease and joy in life. And it's so true. It's this, when you go out of your head, when you get out of psychological time, the killer of happiness, you're not giving energy to the past and the future. You simply exist now, and you allow for things to, for future stuff to arrive to you. And this is how you attract manifestations. I wonder, I really wish I could, I don't really have anybody that I could bring on right now, but I would love to bring somebody on to talk about this sort of situation. But what do you think? I don't need an answer or anything, but can you go into a moment where you went into this psychological time, and the killer of happiness, and you went into your head and you got anxious and all that? Why don't we me too. I mean, I'm saying this, and this is something that I can do too, but what if whoever's listening right now can practice this sort of situation? If you can find yourself in a moment later in the future, don't look at it. Don't look at the future. Let it arrive to you. But when that present moment comes, where you are starting to go inside of your head and get anxious, try to remember that that is just your false sense of reality, and you only have now. So try to come back to what you have now. And I need to practice this sort of thing too, because sometimes I go into wild places and it's like, it'll come, it'll be here, and because really that's the only moment that you have. It's such a weird concept, but like right now, like I went to a little space right now where I was in the future, and I keep going out of focus and forget that what I have is right now and what's happening, and nothing really matters in the future and all these things. So anyways, I'm gonna I think I'm going to end this episode right here because that's all really what I wanted to say. And it's okay if this episode is very short. So yeah, I hope this helped. And I hope you gain an understanding of the 3 ways of viewing time. So let me just what do you say? How do you say that? The 3 ways of viewing time. So number 1, there is no time. There is only the present moment. Number 2, clock time, like continuity of society. You have a date. You have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Psychological time is number 3. The killer of happiness, psychological time, where again, we have this sense of perceived time. We have a false sense of reality. And this mostly happens when we're anxious, when we start saying things like, I don't have enough time, or it's taking too much time. What I noticed in my real life is that sometimes you really think about it. There's so many hours in the day, and there's so many things you could do in the day. And sometimes when we're just being a little bit lazy, we can view the day going by extremely fast and say, oh, there's not enough time to do this. But when another day comes that I start doing that task that I said is taking too much time, I finish it, and then I have so many hours left. And it's like it almost reminds me of this sort of thing where I went into psychological time and I thought that I didn't have enough time. I was running out of time. But really, the day that I did do that task, I finished it immediately and I had so much time left. And it made me feel really good because it's like, oh my God, I have so much time to do other stuff. So I guess the thing here that I could say is that just do what you need to do. Do that task that you thought is going to take a lot of time. And I'm not going to say I guarantee you, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something very fast and you're going to have extra time to do the rest of the things that you wanted to do. So yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, okay, sweeties. Well, thank you guys for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to end it right here. And so if you guys haven't already, please leave me a review on Apple Podcast, and you could also review me on Spotify if you're listening to my show on Spotify. Thank you for everyone who's listening and has been listening to me so far. I will catch you in the next episode.